Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Raider World. So today I have a cool product from Rogers Unlimited. It's a customized garage door remote for our touring bikes. It basically replaces that cigarette lighter port, accessory port that we have on our touring bikes, and it turns it into a push button. I know most of us, we have these garage door remotes here, or openers, and we put them on our keychains, or we have to get off the bike in order to hit the keypad to open up the garage. I thought it was a cool feature to add on the bike. I did see them on Facebook. This is a veteran-owned company, so I wanted to try them out. It's got some cool features on it. I will provide a link in the description below. We do have to remove the fairing, so we'll remove the fairing and we'll go ahead and install this. I haven't unboxed this yet, so we'll unbox this together and we'll see what's inside. So let's get it going. All right, so here we have our product from Rogers Unlimited. We'll go ahead and unbox this, see what's inside of here. So this is the business here, veteran-owned company, and it looks like we have the garage door remote here. All right, so here's what came in the box. We got our instructions here. We got our zip ties with some Velcro, and it's got the adhesive backing on here with some Velcro. You basically Velcroed onto this and Velcroed onto the fairing itself. And some business cards. So we'll go ahead and get this installed on the bike. All right, so before we remove the fairing, I'm gonna go ahead and cover up this front fender here with the service cover. That way, if we drop anything, we're not scratching up the paint. All right, for the tools you're gonna need, I do have a powered screwdriver, Phillips head. You can just use your regular screwdriver. And then from here, you got your ratchets. I just got different ratchets that I use. I do use the ratchets that have the swivel head, just makes it a little easier. And then I also have the Torx wrench here. And as far as sockets, I got the T30 Torx. Then I have a T25 Torx. And then also I have the 3/16 hex bit here. But I'm also gonna use a 3/4 inch deep socket. That way we can get in there and screw that push button a little easier. So these are the tools I have here, and then obviously you got your instructions and everything else that comes in the packet. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go ahead and remove this windshield. This is the Clockworks blacked out Sport Flare 9-inch. If you guys wanna see more on this windshield, you can go ahead and click this link right up here. So we just got to remove this trim right here. This is the Clockworks blacked out trim. It's got 4 screws here. So we'll go ahead and remove those 4 screws. All right, so we have that trim removed. We'll go ahead and remove this windshield. Just comes right off. All right, once you have the windshield removed, we're gonna go ahead and take this vent off. This is your vent that you let some air vent through here. We'll go ahead and just pop this up. It just pulls right up. So you just pull up, pops right off. It's basically just held on by these 2 clips here. So once we get that windshield off of here and we get that vent off, I go ahead and take the screws that you screw in your windshield, and I like to put them back in here. That way we got something holding onto the fairing when we remove the other bolts. All right, so we got these 2 screws right here, just finger tight. We got it holding on to the front fairing here. So that way when we remove the other bolts, this fairing doesn't come crashing down. And when you're ready to remove the fairing, you go ahead and just take these 2 screws out. They're finger tight, so you can just pull them right off. So what I like to do from here, I just go ahead and disconnect the turn signals here. All right, so you got your turn signals disconnected here. We'll go ahead and pop these speaker grills out, and we'll take out the Torx bolts that are in there. All right, so here we have our speaker grill. What I like to do, some people use a tool to pry it off of here, but it's really easy. Just stick your hand in there and it just pops right out. That's it for that. All right, so here's our other speaker grill. Like the other one, what I like to do, I just put my hand behind here. It's just held on by these retaining clips here, and it pops right out. All right, so here we have our Torx bolt. We have one on each side next to the speakers. You got one on this side and we have one on the other side. This is a T30, so we'll go ahead and remove this Torx bolt here, and we'll go ahead and remove the other Torx bolt as well. All right, so remove this bolt here. This is the T30 Torx bolt. It's just sitting right here next to the speaker. We'll go ahead and remove the other one on the other side. So once you have those Torx bolts out right next to the speakers, We'll go ahead and remove this Torx bolt here. This is a T25. You might have wind deflectors here. I did install the front fairing spoiler. You can see that video right up here. So just need to remove this bottom one here. You can keep this one up here. All right, so we remove this Torx bolt here. This is the T25. We'll go ahead and remove the other side. All right, so from here, we're gonna go ahead and remove this turn signal bolt. The turn signal does stay attached to the fairing when you remove the fairing. That's why we disconnect the turn signals. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this bolt. This is a 3/16 hex bit. All right, so same thing on this side. We'll go ahead and remove this bolt from the turn signal. This is the 3/16 hex bit. Like I said before, turn signal stays attached to the fairing when you're removing the fairing. All right, so for our last step here, we're gonna go ahead and remove these 2 windshield screws. We put these windshield screws in here to hold it in place. That way we're removing the other bolts. This fairing didn't come down on us. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and disconnect your turn signals on each side. And when you're removing these screws, just make sure you're supporting your front fairing here so it doesn't come down on you. We'll remove these and also make sure you got somewhere you're gonna put your fairing paint side up. That way you're not scratching or anything like that. All right, and your fairing should just come right off. All right, like I said before, just make sure you got somewhere you're setting your fairing. Just paint side up. So here we have the plug we're gonna disconnect, this gray plug. We're gonna disconnect it from the cigarette lighter. So we'll go ahead and disconnect this. You just pull this out and it just connects just like that. So this is what it looks like here. We just pulled this out. This is for your cigarette lighter or accessory port. We'll go ahead and unscrew this. Basically, you just unscrew it away from you and it just comes off just like that. It's pretty easy to get off. You just turn and it comes off just like that. And then from there, you can remove your cigarette lighter or accessory port here. So we went ahead and removed these and that's all it is here. And then you got your adapter or your plug here. All right, so here we have the garage door remote from Rogers Unlimited. Here you got your connector here that connects into this gray plug here. And then you have your clicker here. And basically all this does is disconnect and then we'll put it in through here. So we'll go ahead and take this nut off of here and then you have 2 washers and basically they're gonna sandwich together just like that. All right, so here we have our switch here. Basically we're gonna install this from the other side through over here. Basically it's a push button. This does light up. I chose a red option on this one. He does have different color options. So all we're gonna do is just remove this nut. So that comes off there and then you have 2 washers. You have this washer that's gonna sit on this side over here. And then this one is just gonna come in through on this side. So it's just your finished washer on here. And basically you want it to sit just like this. So it's gonna go on this side and it's gonna sandwich in just like that. So stick that in through there. And then you got your washer here. We'll go ahead and stick that in there. And it's just gonna sandwich just like that. And then we take our nut, just loosely put it on there for now. What we want to do is just make sure you got this nipple here facing towards you so it's easier to disconnect. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take I got a deep socket here. This is a 3/4. I'm gonna hold down this side tight and then just tighten this down. It doesn't have to be too tight, but just wanted to get there nice and snug so it doesn't get loose on you and you have to remove the fairing to tighten it back up. So we'll go ahead and make sure your nipple side is still out. We'll stick this on here. And again, this is a 3/4 deep socket. That way it fits in through there, this long part right here. If you want to throw some Loctite on there, you can throw some Loctite on there. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this side here. Like I said, you got your clip right here. That's why we want this nipple facing this way. That way when you're putting this clip on, it's easier to move. It only goes in one way. So it's in there, it's nice and snug. If you look at your plugs here, all right, it only goes in one way, so we'll go ahead and plug this one in. All right, so that's all connected there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and turn the bike on and then just make sure we get this program to our garage door. All right, so we have our garage door remote installed here. Obviously, you can always turn on your bike and then test it, make sure it turns on before you install it on here. But I just went ahead and installed it, and we'll go ahead and turn the bike on, make sure this powers up. So turn the bike on, everything powers up. All right, so from here, it says to start with the garage door closed, and then we'll remove the remote control cover, press and hold the program button until the LED turns on. As you can see here, you have your chart here for your different colors for your garage door openers. So just make sure you're reading these clicks on the right-hand side here. All right, so from here, we're gonna remove the access door to our program button. You got your program button here. So we'll go ahead and hold that down until it stays lit. So it'll stay lit, and then from here, we're gonna go ahead and hit that garage door learn button. All right, so here's the learn button that's on my garage door. Some garage doors are different. You might have a yellow button and an orange button. We're gonna go ahead and press this button, and then from here, we'll go ahead and press that button that's on the actual garage door remote that's installed on the bike. So we'll go ahead and hit this and let it sync up, and then we'll hit the button that's on the bike. All right, so we hit our garage door learn button. You just gotta click it and hold it for a couple seconds. Don't hold it too long, because then you'll erase every other remote that's transmitting to it. So then from here, I do have a purple button, so what I'll do is I'll hit it 3 times. And I just heard my garage door activate. Basically, it was just a click with a flash of the garage door light. All right, and then from here, you just click your program button to turn that off. The LED light will turn off, and then we'll go ahead and hit this button. And there you go, it activated the garage door. So cool feature. We go ahead and put this cap back on, and we'll figure out a way to get this Velcroed and zip tied on here. All right, so now that we got everything connected, everything synced up, we tested our garage door opener. We're gonna go ahead and make sure we get this secured in here. So we'll go ahead and take this Velcro. He provided some Velcro, and it's adhesive on both sides. So just leave it stuck together like that. You can line it up a little bit better. I'll remove the tape on one side of the Velcro, and then go ahead and stick it on this side here. You don't want to stick it on the clicker side. So we'll go ahead and get this secured in here, and we'll get this wire tucked in. All right, so here we have the garage door transmitter here. And basically, I have the wire just tucked in here. I didn't even need to use zip ties. The Velcro sitting here. I didn't want to put it on the clicker side, so I put it on the back side, and it's just sitting up here. We'll go ahead and put the fairing back on, see if if this interferes with anything as far as putting the fairing back on. So we'll get our fairing back on here. Make sure everything's lined up. Same thing, just in reverse. We're going to put these windshield screws in here just to hold this fairing on while we're trying to put our other bolts in and get everything lined up. All right, so we went ahead and put our fairing back on here. We had those 2 screws holding it on. We wanted to make sure that it's all lined up here, and that garage door opener is not interfering with lining up this fairing here. So far, so good. All the bolts lined up in the back, and also the turn signal bolt lines up. So everything looks good. We'll go ahead and start getting this thing buttoned up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put our bolts back in next to our speakers. This is the T30 Torx bolt. We'll go ahead and put this in, and we'll get it torqued down. All right, so we have this snug on here. We'll go ahead and torque this down. It is 20 to 30 inch-pounds. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do it at 25. So we got this set at 20 right now. We'll go ahead and put it at 25. Now we got it at 25, and then we'll go ahead and torque this one down. All right, so from here, we're gonna go ahead and get this turn signal bolt back in here. This is a 3/16 hex bit, so we'll go ahead and get this one on here. All right, so we have our turn signal bolt installed. It is 48 to 60 inch-pounds. We'll go ahead and set it at 55 inch-pounds, and we'll get this torque down. And it's the same thing on the other side. All right, so here we have our T25 Torx bolt. This is for your lower wind deflector, or if you have the fairing spoiler kit, it's just gonna go right here. All right, so we'll go ahead. We have our lower Torx bolt down here for our wind deflectors, or if you have the fairing spoiler kit, we'll go ahead and torque these down. This is 8 to 15 inch-pounds. We'll go ahead and set it to 12 and we'll get this torque down. And it's the same on the other side. All right, so now that we got all our bolts in there, we'll go ahead and make sure we reconnect our turn signals. Just make sure you're pushing these down to where you hear a click. You can go ahead and reapply dielectric grease if you want to. Just give it a good tug, make sure they're in there. And then we'll go ahead and put that vent back on here, and then we'll throw our windshield back on here. These are our windshield screws that we had in here holding it on, but now that we have our other screws on there, we can go ahead and remove these. All right, so we have our vent. We'll go ahead and set this on here. Just make sure everything's seated correctly as far as your rubber piece here, and then you got your 2 retaining clips you're gonna push down here. So we'll go ahead and set this on. It just clicks right in. All right, so here we have our Clockworks windshield. I do have the trim that goes on here. I'm gonna work from one side to the other. It's just easier that way. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our speaker grills here. Just make sure this rubber piece that goes around your speaker grill, make sure that's all seated correctly and it's not out of place. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start from the outside first and then just kind of click inward. And they only go in one way. So we'll get this in here. So clicks on the outside first and then just kind of work it in there. And everything's seated in there. Appreciate you guys tuning in to Raid World. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also hit that bell notification. That way every time I put up a new video, you guys get notified. All right, I'll see you guys next time.